Greetings, Skill Incarnate bringing you all the latest indie gaming goodness. Welcome back as we check out another AAA game. This time we're looking at Beyond Contact, developed by Playcorp Studios and published by Deep Silver. Beyond Contact is billed as Don't Starve in Space, and that's a pretty good description. Now the game had some middling reviews on Steam, with players citing issues like bad balancing, there's a lack of a tutorial or a very limited one, and it has a pretty brutal difficulty even by survival game standards. Now while all of these things are true to a degree, once you play the game and you master some of the mechanics, it gets a lot easier and a lot more fun. In fact, I delayed my review because I was so busy uncovering all the game's secrets. I'm going to show you the first part of the campaign and try and throw in some tips and tricks to make your experience easier if you choose to pick this game up. Let's have a look at Beyond Contact.
Honored members of the UWC, the situation on Catern has deteriorated more quickly than anticipated. The latest surface scan has confirmed our greatest fears. We have discovered that this planet harbors a civilization, and that they find themselves on the brink of total annihilation. It is the duty of the UWC to ensure all life in the galaxy has the opportunity to grow and thrive. We must intervene. I have mobilized Space Corps. We have determined that the best course of action is to evacuate as much of the population as possible.
Thanks again for letting us work here.
Quinn! Quinn! We've received an urgent mission from Space Corps Command.
Seriously?
Yeah.
But we just tracked down this lost civilization. All right, what does it say?
You won't believe this. We've been assigned to the Catern mission.
Huh? They don't usually send scientists on a rescue operation. Was there a mix-up?
Let's hear the update.
The situation on Catern has deteriorated. We've lost contact with our satellite, and we need your team to provide reconnaissance and support to the rescue operations from orbit. You're the only expeditionary research team in range. Coordinates and objectives have been uploaded to your ship's AI. There's no time to waste. Please depart immediately and review the mission briefing en route.
All right, team. Our directives have been updated. These artifacts can wait, but the rescue team can't. So let's get moving.
Quinn, you need to take a look at... What is that?
We're in some sort of asteroid field. Are you sure you got the right coordinates?
Quinn, I've checked the instruments. We're staring right at Catern.
It's breaking apart. Too late. Abort the mission! Get us out of here!
Here we go! All thrusters in full reverse!
Magnetic anomalies detected.
Quinn! It's not working! We're being trapped in!
Okay, team. This might be it. Brace positions.
This is the Aurelius to all Space Corps vessels. Do not enter the system. Repeat, do not enter this system. The planet appears unstable. Megaton pulses are flooding our instruments. We can't escape. Preparing for impact. Abort the mission.
The game begins with us freshly crashed on this mysterious planet with nothing but our basic tools and our friend Carl the robot.
Carl, this is an emergency. Can you locate the crew? Where is everyone?
Negative. Crew location cannot be determined due to atmospheric interference.
What? But that means I'm on my own. Carl, locate the ship. That must be where they're heading.
Affirmative. I am searching for the Aurelius. As I am searching, I strongly recommend you refresh yourself on basic Space Corps survival techniques.
Now don't do what I did and skip the tutorial. Even though it's not as detailed as I would like, it does have some interesting tidbits that will help you in the early game.
You're right. No point heading to the ship if I won't survive the journey.
Affirmative. Now activating Space Corps Emergency Survival Course. Before we begin, please ensure your scanner device is functional by scanning your escape pod.
So we don't have any equipment apart from our scanner, but that is going to be what lets us understand the planet's flora and fauna. By scanning something, we learn the different ways in which we can use it.
It looks like my scanner works. Oh, I found this Medigel as I was scanning the escape pod.
I strongly advise applying that Medigel. I've detected numerous injuries sustained from the impact. Please, use your Medigel now. Your atmosuit is constantly monitoring your health, oxygen, and stamina levels, and summarizing this information into an estimated value. You can support your vitals by using medicine like that Medigel, or by consuming food you find out in the world. Consuming food will also increase your stamina. If your stamina becomes fully depleted, then you will starve to death.
This is a very in-depth survival manual.
The irony is that the survival manual is not in depth and it really only gives you the very, very basics.
I am registering an alarming amount of toxins in the air. You will need to rely on your atmosuit's oxygen reserves to survive. Your oxygen supply is limited. You will need to siphon more from the environment. Look out for oxygen vents or plants that are producing oxygen bubbles. You can use your scanner to identify sources of nutrition and oxygen. Please explore the surrounding area to locate one source of food and one source of oxygen.
Okay, so next thing we need to do is to scan some of the nearby plants, and this will let us know what they can be used for. The Keppel plant is one of the most useful items in the early game.
Data you have.
Every time we harvest a plant or mine a node, we will get some research data, which we can then use to conduct some research.
How is it sparking like that?
Spark stones are a very useful crafting material. They can be made into a variety of different weapons as well as some tools which are going to be very useful when nightfall comes. Oxygen plants will replenish themselves over time. That will come back. And finally we have these timber plants, very useful. The timber flower will allow us to make different types of rope.
I've scanned some minerals and some of the flora. What's next?
With the data you've acquired, we can now complete a research task. Open your research interface and complete rapid heating.
Now, one of the things the game didn't really make very obvious is that you can queue up research tasks, and you should absolutely be doing this. First thing we want to do is make the rapid heating research to build some heating sticks that we'll be using to stay alive at night. Then we're going to figure out how to make fabric. Then we're going to research animal capture. And you can see that you can, as long as you've got the materials, you can queue up as many tasks as you want.
You will be required to provide the raw materials needed to complete the fabrication. Gather the needed materials, and then proceed to fabricate one thermostick. I have detected that night on this planet is inhospitable due to an extreme temperature drop. That thermostick will provide you a layer of protection.
Now, when nightfall comes, we're going to need to break out the thermosticks, and also some of the planet's inhabitants become more active at night.
It looks like I'll be able to keep my oxygen topped up. And this food doesn't look too bad. Are we done? Can I go find everyone now?
Negative. It is strongly advised that you establish a solid understanding of how to best utilize your scanner before continuing.
Okay. Give me the quick version then.
Your scanner can fabricate useful equipment and structures that you will need to use for establishing a base. The scanner needs schematics for fabrication. Schematics are obtained by completing research. To complete research, you must obtain data from this world. Data can be obtained by scanning new materials in the environment. You can also acquire data by interacting with the world around you, or by converting physical matter into data via the data laboratory. For now, please acquire some research completed successfully.
Okay, so the short version is we need to go and collect resources to get data to perform research. We're also going to want to grab as many materials as we can in the short term so that we can build a base. Now, we won't be able to build much of a base right now. And I think the next thing we want to do is to make some fiber weaving. Okay, and then we're going to want to fabricate some thermosticks. We want 2 of those, very, very useful at night.
I've got my thermostick. Should I crack this open and make sure it works?
I would recommend you save that thermostick for nighttime. Once lit, it cannot be extinguished until it is depleted.
Oh, well, that's good to know. So, are we done? Can I make a dash for the Aurelius?
We've covered the basics of survival, and I have located the Aurelius. We can now proceed.
All right. There's no telling what's out there. I'd better get my bearings and some basic equipment before making my way to the Aurelius.
I would recommend a basic set of armor and 1 piece of equipment.
Good to know. I still can't believe this is happening.
Now, the
Research completed
other thing
successfully.
we're going to want to do is to find some minerals.
That's new. I should give it a scan.
Minerals are going to give us the
There's a thick layer of mud on
research we
everything.
need to
The
complete
floor
some
makes it hard to
weapons.
see.
Now you need to be careful about some of the biomes. A biome like this we don't want to progress too far into because even though some of these creatures like that little guy are harmless, there's a lot more nasty stuff waiting in here for us. My priority at the moment is to gather
I
some
picked up something new to scan.
basic materials and enough food to keep us going for a day. I also want to gather some more sparkstone and build some additional thermosticks, and I want to try and oh, there we go, that is a balloon
Looks like
stalk.
this can be scanned.
These little babies are essentially mobile oxygen tanks. We can eat, oh, I shouldn't say eat these, we can consume these to restore our oxygen. And there are a bunch of plants around, so they're not super necessary, but it is very easy to get stuck in an area where you can't find any way to refill your oxygen, so I like to have a few of them on hand. Ah, here we go.
I picked up something new to scan.
Banana turnips, anything that is food based, you want to try and gather as many as you can because we're going to have a lot of problems with food in the early game. Now the reason why I'm not headed towards the ship is I want to try and get some research going. You can see the ship is down here. Oops, there's the escape pod. No, it's to the south, so
I'll freeze outside at night. I'm starting to feel like a real Space Corps operative.
now I can craft another thermostic, and we've got enough food and resources to keep us going. Beautiful. You can see we're getting a bit hungry, so we can smash some of these down. And now that I have some supplies, we can start heading towards the ship. Beautiful. Now we can also queue up some research, And the last thing I like to build is the portable heating unit, which is basically it's a
This
mobile
region is full of open
mobile
spaces.
cooker.
Finally, some breathing room.
Now these plants will recharge over time, so never worry about picking something up. Most of the plants and the resources in the game do come back. Ah, here we go, here's a mine. Well, I would love to
Research is complete.
grab that. I
Awaiting
need
research.
mining equipment. And to complete instantly, it's going to require a bit of resources, so we won't do that for now. We're just going to stick around. Oh, it's going to take quite a while. That's fine. We'll continue on. We'll find more resources as we go. And I want to try and get to the ship before nightfall. It doesn't matter if we don't make it on time. The early game isn't too bad, and you don't really want to rush yourself. You want to try and
What
get a
happened
nice supply.
here? Everything seems to be fading away.
Oh, here we go.
Freezing in progress.
Now, getting a bit cold. Waiting for my research to complete. Don't worry, we've got a thermo stick, so we're not going to die. I'm going to crack that out in a second.
Research is complete. Awaiting new research.
Beautiful. Look at all this good stuff. We can mine all this up. And we can now fabricate a explorer pit. Probably nearly time to break out the thermo sticks. But being near an ember crystal will increase our heat, because these crystals are basically fire crystals, and we're going to be using those as a fuel source.
Likely to have suffered severe damage from the crash.
And there's another one over here. We might just... let's crack out our thermo stick. Now, one of the cool things too is if you drop your thermo stick, as long as you stay near it, you will still get the benefits of it. So don't feel bad about dropping it. Drop it when you need to. Just make sure that you stay within the range of the thermo stick, and that you pick it up once you're ready to move on. So all this good stuff, we're gonna be using this to build a base, and we're also going to be using the data to do some research. Sparkstone, very useful. And I'm going to get some ferron as well, because ferron is your metal. Going to want some of that for sure. There it is. Now, as far as I can tell, minerals don't respawn. So you do want to be careful with those, but everything else in the game, enemies respawn, the local wildlife respawns, so don't feel bad about busting out the hunting nets and killing the local wildlife. They respawn fairly rapidly. In fact, you're going to need to do that to survive, because farms in the early game are pretty underpowered. Now, we can now do some more research. Portable heating, let's queue that baby up. Next, we're going to want a backpack for sure. And we're going to want some electronics, because we've been saving up our resources, and we can build some weapons as well. Finally, I'm going to build a workshop, and I think that's... yeah, we're going to want storage. Okay, you can see why I spent some time in the desert before going to the ship, because we now have a bunch of research queued up. And we can safely head towards the ship. We've got some food as well. We're going to smash down some of the food we found. Now you can see the character has the case of survival game diabetes. you need a scary amount of food to get by, so that's why in the early game you want to try and gather as many plants, edible plants, as you can get, and you want to gather this timber flower as well, because that's going to let me hunt animals, and once we can hunt the animals in the game, we can get a reliable source of meat. Gonna grab some of these. Seeds, of course, very useful. We can eat them and they don't rot. So most of the food in the game does rot. So you can't just make a massive stockpile of fresh food. You can process it into a form that is non-perishable. But in the early game, you're going to be doing a lot of running around, looking for all the plants to keep yourself fed, until you can get a farm working. And that's where a lot of the game's difficulty comes from. You're always on the move. You're always looking for more stuff. So we've finally found the Aurelius.
Totaled. I don't think the
Research
Aurelius will
completed
ever fly
successfully.
again. Let's look around. Impact residue readings match with the planet's signature. That rock was from this world.
So our ship got taken out, but we can steal some of the scrap.
Automated broadcast detected. Now playing back message.
To my fellow crew members, stay strong. We've taken a beating, but we'll pull through this together. Many survivors have been secured so far, some injured. We've remobilized and set up a temporary camp nearby. We have secured resources and medical equipment. All Space Corps operatives need to make their way to our camp. This message will repeat until all crew members are accounted for. We are in a desert region
Research is
rich in
complete. Awaiting new research. Message concluded.
Haha, yes! I knew they'd make it. Thank goodness. We're going to make it, Carl. Let's go.
So our next goal is to get to the desert.
A piece of the communications array. It works! Carl, report our status to command. We need help immediately.
Transmitting emergency message. Sent. Message failed. The ionosphere appears to be deflecting outgoing transmissions. We're on our own.
Now, the next area is located in the desert and it's quite hostile. So my recommendation is to actually set up a base in the starting area. There's a couple of advantages to this. There is a high supply of food.
Research completed successfully.
And we've also got a lot of the animals which are less aggressive and easily hunted. So looking at the map, our best bet, because you can see that the camp is roughly about here, we can set up a base in this area near the spaceship. In fact, directly to the north is fine. I think here's a good location and we can get started. So what we'll do is we're going to construct, first of all, we can't make it yet, so that's alright. For now we're going to continue gathering. Now the desert is a pretty nasty place and I do recommend against setting up here for a few reasons: the lack of food, the more hostile environment, and the enemies being quite brutal. The starting location is a lot simpler, food is a bit more abundant and easy to find, and if you do need the resources of the desert, as long as you set up just near it, it's a quick walk. This is somewhere you don't want to live.
Anyone? We need to find out what happened.
So we can see that
A recording.
Captain Jackson
It was recent, too.
didn't make it.
I don't think I have it in me to listen to this.
Captain's log. Good day. We finished setting up our little outpost here. The wounded are being treated and oxygen supplies are sorted.
At least the captain was an Aussie, representing for us Aussies.
Nearly everyone's accounted for. Nearly. We've been out searching for Quinn. Still, No sign of her so far.
Research completed successfully.
I'm sure she's made it. During our search, we discovered a massive collection of ruins. They look similar to the image we received during the briefing. After we find Quinn and patch everyone up, getting to those ruins is going to be our top priority. What? Everyone! Diamond formation! Get in a defensive position! Protect the wounded! Incoming! They're engaging!
This can't be happening. Everyone's gone. Just like that?
So unfortunately our friend didn't make it.
I can't listen to this again.
Our next goal is to use this area to set up a staging
Our crew was
base.
attacked and were forced to retreat.
I am not detecting any signs a retreat took place. The most probable outcome is that our crew did not survive the attack. Due to this emergency situation, you are now acting captain. The responsibilities of this mission are now in your hands.
What? Me? Don't say that, Carl. We don't know for sure what happened. The crew said they found some ruins. I'm sure that's where they retreated to. We need to make our way there and regroup with them.
Captain Hicks, I strongly recommend establishing a suitable base and fabricating equipment before traveling to the ruins. The unknown force that killed our crew necessitate further caution.
Don't call me that. I'm not the captain. Let's prepare our defenses, gear up, and find everyone.
So the next area, things get very dangerous.
Warning.
We're going to... Oh, here we go. We've actually managed to find ourselves a bat and I didn't have to build it. Excellent.
Research is complete. Awaiting new research.
So we've now got some new equipment. We've got some resources. We've also got ourselves a basic weapon in the shape of a baton. Now this is not going to help us against most of the enemies in the game because they're quite tough, but it's going to at least let us fend off some of the more nasty little enemies in the game. So we're going to grab some more resources and then I'm going to head back home and start building my base in the starting area. And that's probably the best advice I can give you. Spend the first 2 to 3 days just going around. You want food, you want ore, and you want to try and gather a little bit of building materials as well. You want to use the research data that you gather.
All this hard work
here we
is
go.
paying off. Nowhere to put that.
Now we're full up on stuff, but that's okay.
This arid region appears to be rich with minerals. I should gather what I can.
Again, we're going to gather all the spark stone we can. Nightfall's coming. We don't have a way to heat ourselves yet. Although I am researching a portable cooker, which is going to help cook our food, and it's going to keep us warm.
It's making my suit go haywire. It's too solid to break without the proper mining equipment.
So here, there's the area is a little more dangerous. We can still get our hands on some food. As you can see, we're running a bit low. But I think that is enough. Farron, here we go. So this is your stock standard metal. Gonna want as much of this as we can carry. Beautiful. Research, we're gonna continue with that. Some storage. And we're gonna want... solar power, that's... We're gonna want some portable electricity as well. And some basic construction. So this is just going to let us build some walls and doors. And I think that's enough. Because nightfall's coming, so we're gonna head back home. But the good thing is that we've got all the materials we need, and we've got enough food to keep us going. I'm pretty happy with that. Excellent.
It'll be night soon.
Now, air's starting to get a bit low, but luckily I brought some air sacs with me. You can see it's always good. These do wear down over time. You can see that there's a bit of a counter telling you how close they are to rotting. So most of the consumables in the game do have a shelf life, so be aware of that. And I'm going to get out of here because this area is home to some nasty creatures. And this early in the game, we could take them on, but I just severely end up hurting myself. It's not worth it. Not without some better gear. So let's, we need to go north. Oh man, okay. I'm gonna take this food. And then we're gonna absolutely do a runner. Let's fabricate some thermo sticks. 4 of those. Now, if you're smart, and you can see that I waited until the last minute to use the thermo stick. If you're smart, you can actually get through the entire night on 1 stick. Beautiful. So we smash this down. Boom, boom, boom. And we're near full hunger and full oxygen. So we can head back home now. Oh, and we're going to stay away from some of the nastier creatures for now. Oh, and we're back at the camp, unfortunately. Yeah, we want to get out of here. These guys are very, very dangerous. And this is why I recommend you do not set up in the desert. We're going to head back to the starting biome. The guys, they don't have a big aggro range, so it's very easy to get yourself back to safety. But the best advice I can give you, find the Aurelius ruins of the ship and set up there, because it's simple, it's not dangerous. There's a lot of animals that you can hunt, and it's a really safe area, a good staging place to just get your bearings and get some equipment built. So we may have overshot. Oh no, the Aurelius is here. We have not overshot. Here it is. So we're going to make our base slightly to the north.
I'm going to need to fabricate my own equipment out here.
And we've got some food here, but we're pretty good right now. The food will keep.
Research completed successfully.
Excellent. We can now build some basic storage. And we're going to need...
I can't carry anymore.
Let's just chuck one of those oxygen canisters out. Oh, it actually destroys it. Okay. Good to know. Okay, so the last thing we want to do is get... Whoops. Our fabrication bench. We're going to stick it over here. Give ourselves a bit of room. And we're also going to construct a storage locker we'll need some tamber cloth. Because as you can see, I'm getting pretty full up on stuff, so... Tamber cloth. And storage. Beautiful. So we can chuck this down here, and we've got some storage. We can then... Now, storage lockers don't give you a hell of a lot, but... we can place our ore and some of the things we don't need, like I don't need resin right now. I probably don't need this much ore because the ore doesn't stack very high. And these keep forever, these nutritious seeds, so let's just chuck that off.
In progress.
Oh, I need the headlamp to keep myself from freezing. The next thing we want to do is to build ourselves a way to hunt. So the next thing we can do,
Take a look at my discoveries.
build some tamber cloth, and then we can build a net. There we go. Beautiful. Okay, so let's figure out how to build some structures. Okay, oh, it hasn't researched yet, so I'm researching how to actually build a base. But for now, let's get our handy dandy net out, and we're going to go and see if we can get ourselves some grub. Because, I mean, we're hungry. We've got to eat. And most of the creatures in this area are relatively harmless. That's why I chose this location.
Complete. Awaiting new research.
My goal is to hunt down some animals, and we can use their shells to build ourselves a backpack, and then we can start stowing some stuff. Beautiful. So we've got a ton of these tambers, and you might think I'm spending too much time focusing on it, but you would be surprised how much tamber we need to go through. We're going to need to hunt down more of those creatures. Oh, here we go, and boom. Excellent. So the net will let us gather these small creatures. And this is the way that you can capture some of the creatures in the game. We can slaughter this.
Nutrients. Warning.
And we get some stuff we can use. So next thing we can do is build ourselves a backpack. We need a tamber rope, which is easy enough to build. It's just a bit of tamber. Oh, and some resin. The one time I left the resin back at home. That's okay. We'll go and we'll hunt some down. They're not hard to find. And I'm going to grab some air sacs. And I'm going to see if I can... We don't want to eat the creature meat if it's not cooked. It's going to get us real crook. And you can see one net will net us a, no pun intended, will net us a lot of food.
Research is complete. Awaiting new research.
There's a bit of an art to being able to grab them though. You have to wait until the last minute to throw the net. Oh, there we go. And you can see these creatures. Already I've got a ton of this meat. Now you can eat the meat raw. Of course it's going to make you crook, so I wouldn't recommend doing it unless you have to. But all this meat is going to keep us alive, because food is the hardest thing to find in this game. And once I figured out how to trap these guys, my food problems were largely solved, because one bit of cooked meat is going to provide far more nutrition than eating...
Got to be some food around here.
Oh, there we go. She's already starting to complain about the lack of food. We're going to head back on home. Oh, there's a resin mound. We can get ourselves a bit of resin. Beautiful. So now with this resin, we can make a backpack. We can also... I accidentally selected this, but we're going to... We're going to upgrade our chance of getting crystal from mines, because mines are the one thing that as far as I can tell, they do regenerate, but it's very slow. Most of the organic stuff in the game, animals and plants, will regrow pretty damn quick. There we go. We've got lots of mineral data. And the Ferron ore nodes don't recharge as far as I can tell. But that being said, you can find pieces of Ferron ore just lying around. So let's go and check out our crabby friends here, because they're not too hard to kill. They're hurting me a little bit, but... Oh, damn. There's one left. Excellent. Look at all this good stuff. And we can scan them. And we can get... I'm going to grab this organic... we want the creature meat. Because we can, of course...
This
grab that.
got something interesting. Let's find out what. I can't
Look at all
carry
this.
anymore.
So that was a good...
Nutrients low.
That was a good find. So we're going to head back on home, and then we can start cooking this up. Again, we're going to stay away from those guys. They can be a little aggressive. Head up this way. I've got a ton of this meat. We can cook it up. Now, again, you want to try and avoid eating the meat raw, because it will make you very sick. But if you've got a healing item, you can offset that. So if you get really, really desperate, you can smash down some meat. I don't recommend it. Let's go head on over to what will become our base. And I'm going to build... Let's get some more stuff in here. Chuck the resin in there, and I'm going to make... I want some more storage. Timber cloth.
Nothing beats real-world experience.
Whoops. Excellent. So we've got some more storage. Some of this stuff we can't use as a crafting material yet, because we haven't unlocked the higher crafting tier stuff, but we can just chuck this stuff in here for now. So a lot of the creature parts that aren't meat we're able to keep them indefinitely, but for now I'm going to construct
Nutrients critical.
a portable stove. So this thing, what we do, we chuck this down here and we drag the meat. Now this is what I couldn't figure this out. You have to drag the meat onto the stove, and that's how you cook it. So it doesn't explain that in the tutorial. I found that out by accident. You can only do them one at a time. But this is how you eat the alien parts without dying. But you can see with just a bit of farming, I've managed to refill my health and my hunger. So again, a lot of this stuff I found out by trial and error, and I can understand how people get a bit frustrated, because it just doesn't tell you. It doesn't tell you. So we're going to craft a floor, and we can put down a proper floor now. Ah, there we go. Beautiful. Now I'm going to deconstruct. Actually, let's build some more floor. I need electrical wiring. That's easy enough to build. Now it's going to be a small base, granted, but it'll do the trick. So we'll get some walls in here next.
What was that?
We need some more tamber cloth, and as you can see, we're probably not going to have enough.
A massive anomaly coming from the planet's surface. I have plotted the location on the map.
Okay, now we can build some walls for this. Now, this is probably not going to be enough for now, but it's the start of a safe place for us to be, so not too bad, not too bad. So what we can do now is deconstruct this. And we can pick it up. And I really like that you can just pick stuff up and move it, but we've got the beginnings of a base. So the last thing we're going to do is go around and gather some more materials. We're going to need a lot of timber.
It'll be night soon.
And as you can see, it's actually been long enough that the resources have started to come back. We can go and get some more timber. More sparkstone and more resin. Should have cooked those.
Research tasks.
I'm just going to go and grab just enough timber to get another wall down, which is about 6 plants worth. Another 3 ought to do the trick. Now, our meat's starting to run low. You're going to be a hunter-gatherer for most of the early game. But once you get your first net, then the rest of the game becomes easy, because I left my portable cooker at home, which was a bit silly. But I think that shall be enough. We need some more timber. And I might as well grab some more food because I can. Beautiful. So we got more meat. We've actually got a ton of meat. I overhunted. The other thing you have to worry about, animals do... you can hunt them out of an area for at least a day or two, so make sure that you're rotating around. You don't over-harvest one area, so that you've always got an area that you can go to. And I think we've just about harvested all the timber in the area. Again, it's going to take a couple of days to come back. It's not a big deal. We'll head on home. Back to base, and then I can complete the final section of wall to give us somewhat of a safe area to live in. Then we can worry about things like setting up solar panels. Once you get some solar panels down, you don't have to worry about night anymore. You can store energy. Let's pick this up. And we can chuck this down inside. Whoops, I accidentally... Okay, and now we can cook this meat before it goes bad. And this is the one thing the tutorial, it doesn't explain. How do you cook meat? And it sounds silly, but it's something that definitely needs to be in the game. The tutorial should give you a little entry on cooking, and if it does, it's not really well explained. So we can now get some basic. We go with research chip 3. Beautiful. So now we can start actually building a base. So the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to build some timber cloth. And I'm going to... Oh, I think I need some more ore, which is in here. And we can build a section of wall. Oh, I need ferron ore as well. Wrong ore. Luckily, we spent time in the desert gathering everything we need, so... A wall or a door? I'm going to go with a wall. And we'll just leave a gap for the door. It's not ideal, but I'll feel a little bit safer when we can
Research completed successfully.
wall off most of our base. So there we go. It's nothing special. It's not really the most nicest looking of bases, but what we now have is a safe area we can lay our head. We can do our crafting and cooking, and we can get ready to start exploring the more dangerous areas of the world. Now, as I said, a lot of this I learned trial and error. The game doesn't explain how to use the nets, doesn't explain how to cook, doesn't explain how to capture animals. It only really tells you go out and explore, and how you figure that out is up to you. So I think that a lot of these simple explanations, the core parts of the game beyond go out and get stuff, I think the tutorial really could have done well to explain that to players. Again, I'm going to have to go hunting for some oxygen. Go and have a look for that. I'll probably have a better chance finding it to the north. I hope I can find some oxygen before I die. It would be a rather terrible ending for the video if I was to keel over and die from lack of air. Ah, here we go. Air sac. Beautiful. And I got some seeds as well. So, we're not going to die of hunger. I've got plenty of food. I've got some seeds that I can eat. And I've got some healing seeds as well. We've got some ore. The only thing I really need to do is wait for some more plants to grow. And then we can continue expanding our base. So that was it for today's video. I hope that it helped to explain the basics of the game. In a nutshell, this game is very hard. It doesn't explain a lot to you, and I understand how some people would be frustrated with it. I was frustrated with it myself, and it took a few goes for me to understand the basics of the game. But apart from these issues, the game is cooperative. It has a cooperative mode, and I'm really looking forward to trying it out with my buddy Kel. I hope that the developer, if they're interested, will reach out to me and we may be able to do a stream on Twitch. So if this helped you, leave me a like, leave me a comment. Go and check out this game if you're a fan of survival games. If you like games like Don't Starve, there really isn't anything else out there like this. But just be aware, the game is rough around the edges. It doesn't really explain a lot to you, and you're going to struggle in the early game. But hopefully with these tips, you'll be able to get through the early part of the game a bit easier. Hopefully you'll join me next time when we check out another indie game. Until then, Skill Incarnate, out.